Hey everyone, Nee World here. So, I know it's been about a week or so, but I'm finally here doing my Captain America Brave New World breakdown, reaction, thoughts, review, and as of right now, this is a spoiler review. So, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts, I'm going to talk about the whole movie, and so let's get into it. I actually just got a notification on my phone that a package just got delivered, so I'm gonna go grab it, and I guess I might as well open it on the video. So yeah, I'll be right back. Ta-da! Oh, what could this be? It's a big box. I'm gonna use my trusty knife, which I actually got from a camp that I went to many years ago. But yeah, let's open the big box. I've actually never done an unboxing video. I hear they're quite popular. And this is not a unboxing video, this is just coincidental timing. So, while I'm unboxing this, actually, you know what, I'm going to focus on unboxing this because I don't want to cut myself. I know what this is. Because I haven't ordered anything else recently. But, as you may be able to tell, I am wearing my More Than a Fan shirt with all the movies from Phase 1 through 3 on the back of it. I have ADHD, and this is my ADHD is happening right now, so, and I'm not gonna care. I'm not doing anything about it. Alright. Thank you, knife. Ooh. Oh my god, that is so cool in person. Oh my god, that is so cool. Oh my god, and it... Ooh, it's metal. Oh my god, that is so cool. Oh my god. This is actual metal. Now, those of you who don't know, I am a huge Marvel fan, and I like to collect. I have numerous Funko Pops and other merchandising, and right over here next to me, I have Captain America's stealth shield from Captain America Winter Soldier. So yeah, and then I have his broken shield from Avengers Endgame, and so now I have this one. I'm a huge Captain America fan. Anyways, so we're getting off topic. It's very finely wrapped with plastic. But yeah, this is super cool. I'm gonna use my knife again. It's like a fruit cake that you'd take to like a holiday party. Yeah, it's like, you wrap with like that plastic wrapping that you can get from your kitchen. It's thoroughly wrapped with that. Okay. So yes, we are, I guess this is starting out as a unboxing video, and it'll lead into a movie breakdown reaction video. Alright. It's shiny. What is this? Is this like a clean kit? It's definitely not a bag for the shield, because it's way too heavy. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what that is. Probably nothing of significant value. Oh my gosh, this smells like real, like this is nice. This puts my Winter Soldier cap shield to shame, like seriously. Like this thing is nice. Like you can see the reflection off of. Ooh, this is nice. Okay, yeah, no, this is super nice. And the straps are adjustable. Okay, that is super cool. Keep the box, because you never know when you need a box, you know? Ooh, man, that is nice. That is really nice. Yeah. Oh man, that is really nice. Anyways, so now that we've done that, one last look at the shield before I put it down on the bed. Oh, that is cool. Alright, so we are here today to talk about the movie Captain America Brave New World. This is the popcorn bucket that Ollie and I got when we went to see it at the airport theater here in Santa Rosa. It's a very cool popcorn bucket. It's very much like the popcorn bucket they made for Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, pretty much like that. It's nothing as stylish or as cool as the I mean, it's still cool, but it's not as cool as, like, you know, the AMC theater you know, popcorn buckets, like of his mask or, you know, helmet, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, so this is the 4th Captain America movie that we've had, and this is the first one without Steve Rogers as the leading role of Captain America. And this is our first time seeing Sam really hone that role of being Captain America. We, you know, if you recall in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was still the Falcon. He hadn't taken on that role of Captain America until the end of that series. I've actually never really talked about my opinion for Falcon and Winter Soldier publicly before, but I thought it was an alright show. But anyways, now to the, you know, enough small talk. Let's actually talk about the movie itself. Honestly, I think it's pretty good. I liked Captain America Brave New World. It reminded, and we're going to talk about all the aspects, the good, the mix, and then the not so positive. We're going to talk about all of it, but I'd say it's pretty good. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. I will say I enjoyed this more than I liked the Marvels. And yeah, I know I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and I'm saying a lot. But anyways, so I liked the film. I liked the characters. I loved seeing Sabra being brought to the screen, who was Ruth I'm not going to try pronouncing her last name because I'm just going to butcher it, so I'm just going to say Ruth/Sabra. And I am aware of the controversy of, them changing the character to fit this story that they were telling. I personally don't mind it. I approved of it. My partner Ollie approved of it, and and seeing her on screen was super cool. And I thought she was cool. And I'll talk about her furthermore later, but overall, I liked the film. It was a fun story. The story is a fun story, and the acting is it's huge highlights. Like, Anthony Mackie as Sam/Captain America. Joaquin Torres as the new Falcon. I'm blanking on his the actor's name, but and then Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. I will flat out say it. I think this is one of Harrison Ford's best acting gigs that he's done in a while. It's just, it's Harrison Ford, and I'd say this is one of his best acting performances that he's done in a really long time. I think he did a great job, and what I really liked was that this is just as much of a Captain America movie as it is a Incredible Hulk sequel. And funny thing, I actually just watched The Incredible Hulk last night, and I'll probably go and do a movie review of that one later. But I liked how this was it basically made the MCU feel connected, and not in the sense that I have to do this bunch of homework to understand these characters and plot lines and things like that that's going on or whatever. It wasn't like that. It's been with with the Marvels, right? And whatnot. It was, we're bringing back said characters who we know of, and we're addressing certain things, and that's really cool. And again, spoilers, but I loved that Bucky had his one moment in the film. And honestly, I'm okay with the idea that he was not in the entire film. I think Sam, Joaquin, Isaiah, Harrison Ford, I think the whole cast carried the film on their own. I don't think Bucky needed to be in the whole film, but I do think that for that brief maybe minute or so that he was in the film, I think it was a really nice scene, and it reminded me of the era of the MCU that's on the back of my shirt. It reminded me of the time of the MCU where things felt connected, where it was a connected universe, and it still is. It's just we haven't had that feeling, or at least I haven't felt that from as much of the stuff that's come out since Endgame. And so it was really nice to feel that again. And I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I liked the action sequences. It reminded me of Captain America Winter Soldier, which is my favorite MCU film. Captain America Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU film of all time, because it's a crime thriller. It's it's got the action, and it has an amazing score. And this film very much so reminded me of that. There's a scene in the beginning where Cap is fighting with one of the Serpent Society guys, and the Serpent Society guy, he takes off his sunglasses or whatever, and then Sam takes off his goggles. That reminded me of the scene in the opening fight that Steve had with Batroc in I'm probably butchering his name, with the guy on the boat in Winter Soldier, where he said something to Cap, foreign language or whatever, and then Cap took off his helmet and like dropped it on the ground. Like this moment in Brave New World reminded me of that, which I thought was super cool. And then just the action, I thought it was super cool. I've seen it twice. I've seen this movie twice. Ollie and I took Ollie to see it for Valentine's Day. I got off work, took them to go see it. We both really enjoyed it. And then the next day, on Saturday, we were filming in Sebastopol for their Only in West County film, which I'm very excited to be a part of in a very small, it's a very small little thing, but my role in it's very small. But I'm really excited to be a part of it. And anyways, so we were down there filming in Sebastopol, and then we went to the theater. At the end of the day, we met up with a friend, and we watched the film. So I've seen it twice. I want to see it one more time in theaters before I see it on streaming, but if I don't see it in theaters one more time, I'm totally fine with that. But anyways, just the action, like the fight choreography, I really liked that. I really liked the story. I thought it was fun, and it reminded me of the connectivity, it tied into the Black Widow film, which I also thoroughly enjoyed. It ties into the Incredible Hulk. It ties into Eternals a little bit, and then it is very much also a sequel to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was an alright TV show. And so this movie had a lot of things that I liked. Excuse me. Another thing that I liked was the score. I have, as of seeing the film, I have gone onto YouTube Music, and I have listened to the entire film's soundtrack. I really like the music from this film. There are some parts where it doesn't work for me, but, then there are other songs from certain beats of the film that I was like, whoa, that's good. Like, I really like this. One of my favorite parts, besides the Red Hulk sequence, because I'd say my whole favorite sequence, I have three favorite sequences of the entire film. Number one is the I'd say top three favorite sequences would be the Red Hulk versus Cap fight at the end. I thought that was super cool. I loved it how Cap was saving the people. I really liked that. That was one of my favorite parts about it. And so I really digged that fight sequence. My second favorite part had to have been the fight sequence that happened. Not really fight sequence, but battle. The aerial battle that happened over the ocean around Tiamat, or the Celestial Mass. I thought that was so cool. And there was a part where Sam, he practically surfed off of a missile. I don't care if that's not scientifically correct, or if it can't or can. I don't care the physics behind it. I just care that it looks cool, right? It pulls me out of my stressful life that I live, stressful young adult reality that I live in, and it puts me in this world where superheroes are fighting bad guys and dealing with missiles and stuff like that. Like, it's cool. I don't care if it's right or wrong or physically can be done. I don't care. The thing that I care about is the fact that it's cool. Okay, I thought it was super cool seeing that. Like, that fight alone was super cool. I do have one gripe with the fight, with the whole aerial battle. I have one gripe with it, but other than that, one gripe that I'll talk about later, I thought the fight was super cool. I loved how they periodically started teasing as the film went along. I liked how they teased Thaddeus Ross turning into the Red Hulk. I thought that was super cool, how they would show him getting angry, but he had that self-control. Or, it just didn't, he didn't turn into the Red Hulk per se. And I thought that was cool. So I liked the battle. And then I'd say my third favorite, that's not the third finger, this is the third finger. My third favorite sequence, I'd say, had to have been them snooping around Echo 1. Sam and Joaquin snooping around Echo 1. I thought that was super cool. I love it when it's like, investigating, crimes or, just, things like that. Like, being in places you're not supposed to, where like, you're in an old abandoned place and you're investigating. Like, that's super cool. And like that very sequence reminded me again of Captain America Winter Soldier, when Steve and Natasha are, they're investigating and they're going through the old military base, right? Like, it reminded me of that, which I've always thought was super cool. And so, and then the brief fight, when Sabra came in and fought the military guys or whatever that were under mind control, I thought that was cool. I thought it looked cool, it looked fun, and I liked it, and I thought it was a great way to show that she's a badass, basically, and that, she can hold her own. I thought that was super cool. But, yeah, so those were probably my 3 favorite sequences of the film, and, I just gotta say this again, Harrison Ford kills it. His acting is, it's incredible. Like, he goes to show that even at his age, and I think he's what, like 80 something now? Let's look this up real quick, because now I'm curious off the top of my head. Harrison Ford, boom, bada boom. Let's see, Harrison Ford is, and he looks great. That's the other thing too, is he looks great for his age. He's 82 years old, right? Like, he's been in, things ranging from, American Graffitis to Star Wars to Indiana Jones and, Call of the Wild, Blade Runner, and all these other things. And now he's in, Captain America Brave New World. And honestly, and let's talk about this really quick before we transition to the mix that I have. Excuse me. Harrison Ford was cast as Thunderbolt Ross in probably 2020, late 2022, and that was because the Incredible Hulk is spelled with a K, not a D. Incredible Hulk, and that is because let's see. That is because the original actor who played Thunderbolt Ross was William Hurt. And William Hurt passed away in March. He passed away March 13th, 2022. He played Thaddeus Ross in The Incredible Hulk. He played Thaddeus Ross in The Incredible Hulk, Captain America Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and Black Widow. Black Widow was the last time we saw him in a Marvel movie. Timeline-wise, the last time we saw him was Avengers Endgame at Tony's funeral. But yes, the last time we saw Thaddeus Ross, I always call him Thunderbolt Ross, but the last time we saw Thaddeus Ross was in, I'd say 2021's Black Widow. For some reason, Black Widow is not coming up in William Hurt's movie list, so let's look this up really quick. Black Widow. No, he pops up in the cast list, but it doesn't show up in his thing. That's weird. Black Widow came out in 2021. So, this movie, Black Widow, came out a year before William Hurt died. It was the last time we saw him in a Marvel movie. And then, they obviously recasted him with Harrison Ford. And I think Harrison Ford I feel like that's an obvious choice to go. I feel like Harrison Ford was a good pick for who to have play Sam, or sorry, not Sam, to have, I think Harrison Ford was a good pick for who to have play Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt Ross. And I really liked how they had the news footage where he had the mustache. And then, there were some old de-aged photos of him with Betty when she was a girl and whatnot. I thought that was super cool. And so, it didn't make me feel uncomfortable. The way they went about it didn't make me feel uncomfortable that they recasted the actor. And I understand why they recasted the character. I will say the idea of Thunderbolt Ross, Thaddeus Ross not having a mustache, took me a minute to get used to. At first, I just saw Harrison Ford when watching the trailers, but going into the movie, I didn't necessarily see Harrison Ford. I saw the character, which is what I appreciate. Because when I watch these movies, I don't want to be watching, when I go see the Minecraft movie, and this is something that I've already accepted is not going to happen, but when I go see the Minecraft movie, I don't want to see Jack Black on screen. I want to see Steve. And I know, based off the trailers, I know I'm going to see Jack Black. And if you look at the action figures, they look pretty bad. It just doesn't look right. It just looks like Jack Black wearing a blue shirt, dark blue pants, and brown shoes. That's what it looks like. And and I love Jack Black, but at the end of the day, these are movies. I don't want to see the actor when I'm watching the movie. I don't want to think, oh, Jack Black's doing this, or oh, Anthony Mackie is flying over the Indian Ocean with a shield on his back, or oh, Harrison Ford is turning into a big red monster destroying the White House. I want to think Thaddeus Ross just turned into a big red Hulk. He's destroying the White House. Will Sam make it through this? That's what I like. Movies are supposed to immerse you into the story, and I feel that these actors did their part to make that happen. I really liked the fight between Red Hulk and Sam. I know I've already talked about this briefly, but I really liked that fight, and I think it was crucial that Sam's gear got damaged because it showed his It reminded me of how they introduced him, because remember, he was like a therapist, basically. He was running therapy groups for veterans and people who have served, who have trauma with whatnot. And so, that basically took him back to his roots, and I appreciated that, seeing that on screen. And so I really liked that. And it showed, that sequence showed that even without his gear, he can still take on a threat, which I think is super important because Sam doesn't have the super soldier's serum. I have the hardest time saying that word, and 90% of the time it sounds like syrup when I say it. I don't know why. And so I'm going to take it slow when I try and do this. Sam doesn't have the super soldier serum, and it shows that he can take on a really dangerous, high threat foe, even though he doesn't have that. And I think that was a good way to write the character, and I think that was a good way to show that he deserves the role of Captain America, and that he's a good Captain America, and I think he is. He's no Steve. I am going to call him Cap just for the sake of calling him Cap, but he's not Steve. Steve was Steve, and no one else will ever replace Steve. But I think if anyone were to be a good Cap, I think Sam is a good Cap. But yeah, so I for the most part I really liked the movie, but I do have some mix. The first mixed thing that I have is the fact that it didn't start with the classic Marvel intro. That bothered me the first time I saw it. It didn't bother me as much Well, actually, the second time we saw it, Ollie and I were actually late. We were late to see the movie, so we missed that whole opening sequence. But seeing that, and I've watched the opening sequence on YouTube since, seeing it numerous times, I just can't. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I've looked into it. I understand why they did it that way. I understand Julius Ona, or whoever the person, the director of this movie, like, he wanted the way that it looked to match the vibe of the film, or whatever it was. I understand that. But when I go to a Marvel movie, I expect that Marvel Studios, the I expect that. Like, that was a terrible humming job there. Like, the humming, I did terrible. But it was a terrible impression of the Marvel theme. But, that's what I expect. I expect that Marvel Studios intro every time I go see an MCU film. Because I do my research, I know the difference between a bullcrap Sony Marvel film, like Madam Web, Venom. Well, Venom wasn't as bad. But, Kraven the Hunter, which I haven't even seen yet, and I guarantee you it's probably bad. Like all those other films that Sony's made, besides their Spider-Man films, because their Spider-Man films are good. But, I know the difference between an MCU film and a Sony and Marvel incorporated film, or whatever. Like, I know the difference. Right? Because I've been seeing these movies since I was almost 4 years old. I saw Iron Man in 2008 when it came out. Let's see, it came out in May, but let's be accurate here for accuracy. Iron Man 2008. There we go. It came out May 2nd. And I remember that was a Friday. And just to even spot check, May 2008 calendar. Yeah, May 2nd. It was a Friday. I remember it vividly. My dad picked me up. He said, "Rome, we're gonna go see a movie. It is for an older audience, if there are any moments," and I'm quoting him, by the way. He said, "Rome, we are gonna go see a movie. You will probably like it, but it is for an older audience, and if you get scared, you can let me know and we'll leave. I'll take you home. We can go watch something else at home." That's what he told me. Keep in mind, I was born in 2004. In May. I was born on May 23rd. This movie came out in 2008 on May 2nd. He and I were going to see it on opening night that Friday. I was still 3 years old. I was a matter of weeks away from turning 4. I watched it and I was amazed the entire time because of what it was. And I'm not going to go into that because that's not what we're here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is the mere fact that when I saw that movie, I saw the 2008 version of the Marvel Studios intro. And I've grown up with it. I have grown up and have watched that intro evolve to what it is now. And I expect that in front of every single MCU movie that I see. Now, does my gripe with this Marvel intro, not being in this film, does my gripe with that affect how I like the movie? No. I still like the movie even though it's not in there. I think that what they did was kind of cool. Like, it's alright. I like it. It'll probably grow on me, But at the end of the day, it's no Marvel Studios intro. It's not what it's supposed to be. and it just bothers me. It's a pet peeve. It's a meh. And then some other meh moments, I'm just gonna, like, this is just the mixed, this is the stuff that could have been better, I'm not gonna say it's bad because I don't like trashing on things, but when I'm talking about this, I'm being genuinely serious, because I do like the movie, and I can like something and point out its flaws at the same time. I can do that. And I know I'm usually pretty positive on this channel. I'm not that much of a negative guy. But I'm going to be honest here. So, there are some scenes, there are some shots from the film that don't look good. There are some shots where it was obvious that it was shot on a green screen and edited in post, right? Like, there was one shot of the film during the fight between Sam and Red Hulk. At the end of that fight, there were some parts where I was like, okay, that's obviously on a green screen. And it's not that I hate it, it's just that I noticed it, and it bothered me, right? And there was just moments throughout the entire film where the editing was weird. Where the editing, the splicing was just weird. And I think it helps me to be able to notice this, considering that I am a young that I'm a student filmmaker myself, that I have editing experience. I've edited my own films. And I'm not the best editor either. Like, I know I'm not that great, which is why I try not to do it, because I don't like doing it. I don't like editing. I prefer writing, acting, directing. Or what I'm doing right now, just talking about the movie that I just saw. But anyways, there were just parts of the film that were not edited the right way. That could have been edited so much better. And the dialogue. There were numerous points in the film where the dialogue was either too bulky or just like repeating the plot over and over again, or it was just it just felt weird. There were just moments where I was like, that just didn't feel right, and it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not perfect either, and I will say the script could have probably been a lot better, and the script is different than the story. Yes, the script is a blueprint of the story that you're telling, and it's funny that I'm talking about a script because I actually have a script that I'm working on open on my workspace here that I have behind my phone, which is recording this for you guys. But anyways, you can have a good story. It can be good on paper, it can be good on the big screen, but the script that breaks it down, that outlines that story, doesn't mean that it's good, right? You have to, you can have a good story, but you have to put forth effort to have a good script. And I think that, it reminds me that we're still in that era where they brought together a committee, or someone who's not as talented with script writing, and they tried fudging a bunch of different ideas together to make a script, and they didn't take their time with it. And then they were like, oh well, we have to make this deadline, we've already pushed it out so many times, and so they rush it together in post. And there are parts of the movie where it's obvious that they did a lot of editing in post. There are parts where it's obvious, and then there are parts where it's pretty seamless. I mean, at the end of the day, after the first time I watched it, I was like, that wasn't that bad. Honestly, it was not that bad. It was not that noticeable that it had issues. And you know what? I will still stand by that. It's not that bad, because it's not. And it's not the most noticeable thing, right? unless if you're looking for them. That's when it becomes a bit more noticeable. And it's just one of those things where we're still in that era where Marvel is either hiring young people who don't necessarily know what they're doing or don't have experience with making good content, making good products, making good films, and then or they're just bringing in committee and having the committee do a bunch of rewrites or whatever and reshoots, and that's why a lot of the Marvel content has suffered. And I will say, I have thoroughly enjoyed Captain America Brave New World. I am not trashing on it at all. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. What I'm saying is it suffered the same treatment that a lot of the things that we've gotten since Endgame have had. And I'm sad by that. It makes me sad. But at the end of the day, I thoroughly enjoyed Captain America Brave New World. And honestly, it reminded me of the first 10 years of Marvel, where things felt connected. It felt connected. And it was a fun time at the movies. The action was fun. The acting was great. A lot of the ad-libbed lines in the movie were really good. Well, the action was great. I thought it was great anyways. And, and it honestly reminded me of the early phase of Marvel where they were still figuring things out. Like with phase 1, The Incredible Hulk, right? That has some issues. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect film, but it's not bad either. I think it's an overhated film. This film, Brave New World, it reminds me of the early phases of Marvel, and it gives me hope. That's what I'll say, is it gives me hope that Marvel's going in the right direction. And I think with them hiring the Russo brothers to do Doomsday and Secret Wars, then bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and and the guy who wrote those past movies with the Russo brothers, I think they're doing the right thing. I don't think it's for a cash grab. I don't think it's for those purposes. I think it's for the purpose of they want to tell good stories, and they want people who have talent that will do it right. And so they're bringing in the right people. It's not a matter of we need people's trust. Let's hire Russos or let's bring back Sam because we know that people like Anthony Mackie as the Falcon in the past, and so we hope that they like him. I don't think they're doing that. I think Marvel is moving to a good place, and so my review of the movie, I think it's good. I don't think it's as bad as people are saying it is. I probably should have made this video a while ago, but I was waiting for the Shield to get here. And when I got the notification earlier today, I was like, okay, I'm going to film this video today. I'm going to hopefully time it right so that the Shield gets here at the same time. And so, yeah, I tried timing it perfectly, and I think it turned out all right. But anyways, I don't think the movie is as bad as people are saying it is. If you still haven't seen Captain America Brave New World and you are still watching this video, I feel sorry that I'm sorry that I spoiled it for you. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, and I think people should give it a chance. Whether you want to give it a chance at the big screen in the theater, or if you want to give it a chance at home on Disney Plus, I just hope people give this movie a chance, because at the end of the day, it's a fun movie. It's not that bad, and it has a lot of really nice moments and a lot of nice things that you can like and enjoy. I'll probably see it again. I know I'll see it again, and I'm really excited to watch it again. And I'm okay with the idea that Sam is Captain America. I'm okay with that. I am sad that Steve is gone. I never really knew what the status of Steve was. And I've watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I don't remember them ever explicitly saying what happened to Steve. So I've kind of just always believed that Steve's on the moon. I still kind of believe that. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with Steve doing what he did at the end of Endgame, and now we're getting a new Cap with Sam. I'm okay with that. And I like his new shield, which is one of the reasons why I bought it. I will say I love this movie, even with its flaws. And it just gives me hope that we're going back to what Marvel used to be because of how it made me feel watching it. And at the end of the day, I went and saw it a second time. I only do that for movies that I really thoroughly enjoy. With all of its flaws and imperfections, I still thoroughly enjoy this film, and I will watch it again. When I do Marvel recaps, I'll watch it again. Like, I thoroughly enjoy this movie. Do I think it's as good as Winter Soldier? No. Winter Soldier is still my favorite MCU film, but I think that Brave New World is up there. It's not top 5. I'd say it's maybe top 10. Top 10, top 15. In that range. It's in that range. But it's pretty high within those two ranges for me because I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I liked it more than the Marvels. I liked it more than I liked Secret Invasion, because I really didn't like that. Even though I wanted to, but I didn't. But I liked this. It reminded me of how I felt as a kid seeing Marvel movies and going to the theater to see a Marvel movie. It reminded me of that. Like, I think my dad would like this movie. He'd point out the flaws. He would acknowledge that the movie was flawed and that it has some faulty writing and that it could have been written better. But he would have still liked the movie. And I think he'd agree with me. I think he would. Because his favorite MCU movie was Winter Soldier. And so I think he would have really liked this film because it reminds you of that film. It reminds you of Winter Soldier. And it's not, I don't think it's trying to be something it's not. It's just a fun movie that, and that's another thing I didn't talk about was the pacing. I really liked the pacing of the movie. I thought it was thoroughly paced. I didn't think it was too long. I didn't think it was too short. I thought for it being an hour, it's like an hour and a half? Hour plus? Let's see. Captain America Brave New World is... Okay. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. For the 2 hours and 15 minutes, it's probably more so 2 hours and 5 minutes. Or 2 hours, and then the rest 15 is credits. But, you know, it moves at a really decent pace, and that's one of the things I like about it, is that it doesn't feel drawn out, it doesn't feel long, at least for me it didn't. I enjoyed the pacing. One last thing, before I tell you my grade, the letter grade, that I'm going to give this film, I want to talk about the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene could, and I'll talk about the final scene with Ross. I'll start with the final scene with Ross. I thought the final scene with Ross was cool. I thought that was cool. I really liked that. And I liked seeing Betty come back. And it didn't feel like a cash grab. And it was funny because I knew she was in other parts of the movie. And so when we were watching the movie, I was like, where is Betty? And we think, like, you know, when's that funeral scene coming up? You know, and like, you know, the movie deals with the fact that there were things that were filmed that were obviously cut out, you know, and Saber is, you know, falls subject to that, unfortunately. I really wish that they had kept more of her scenes in there, because I'm all for them bringing in the one and only Jewish superhero into the franchise, and I really hope that they explore her character more. But anyways, so talking about the Betty scene, I thought it was okay. It's funny, when we saw it in theaters, I hadn't seen The Incredible Hulk since it came out in 2008. And I forgot what Betty sounded like. And so she was like talking, and I was like, oh my god, that's what she sounds like. But no, it was a nice little scene that we got there. And I feel like it gave Thaddeus Ross some character development, like a character arc per se. And his character arc started in The Incredible Hulk, and it ends over here with Brave New World. And I feel like it's a consistent thing. And I liked it. I felt that it could have looked, I feel like the scene could have looked a little bit better. I think they, based off my experience and what I know about how this movie was filmed, I think that was one of the scenes that was filmed on a green screen. It kind of looks like that. But overall, I liked it. I just think it could have looked better. And then, the end credit scene, it's a traditional end credit scene. It takes place after the credits. We only get one. It's not the best. This is one of the few things where I'll agree with the internet. This is not the best end credit scene that we've ever gotten. It's not up there. Like, it is probably one of the most forgettable end credit scenes. However, what I do like about it is that it starts to set up where we're going with Avengers Doomsday, Fantastic. Like, it sets up the future in a way that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did with their end credit scene. Only this time, this post-credit scene is setting up something that we're actually gonna see. And so I like that. That's like the one thing I like about it. It was obvious that it was filmed on a green screen. It's whatever. So yeah, it's not the best end credit scene, but it's whatever. And then in regards to the leader's design, I know I'm still talking. In regards to the leader's design, it's not like the comics. I'm sure they've changed it, because I saw promo art where he had a more rounded head, versus it being all lumpy. But I liked the way it looked, even though it wasn't comic accurate per se. I liked the way it looked, and I thought he was a fun enough villain for a one-time thing. I thought he was a fun enough villain, and I thought his design was kind of cool. He kind of made him look like a zombie almost, and I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, so say what you will about the movie. I personally enjoyed it. I'm gonna rate it. I'll give it a solid B for an MCU film, and that's high considering all the track record that we've had from Marvel since Endgame. So I'm gonna give it a solid B minus ish. It's in the in-between gray area. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see it again. I really liked it. I'm curious what you guys think. If you want, hit up the comment section, talk about what you think. This is a respectful, and I want this to be a respectful environment. And if we start throwing inappropriate, comments in the comment section or anything like that, I will find a way to turn off the comment section. I don't even know if they're turned on right now, but if the comment section is turned on, share your thoughts with me. I am curious what you guys think of the movie. I'm curious to see how many of you guys actually watch my videos in full, because I know sometimes they can be a little long. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this talk session. I hope you guys liked the unboxing aspect of this video, which I've never done before, and I'm thinking I might start doing that more often. And so yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope that if you haven't seen Captain America Brave New World yet, I hope you go and see it, and I hope you have a good time with it, and I hope you enjoy it. See you in the next one. Bye.